In human resources, people often don't meet their full potential, and organisations don't get the full potential possible from their employees. Here to discuss why that is the case is Mike Erlin, CEO and founder of AbilityMap. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
This is an interesting one. Now, before we get into it and talking about AbilityMap, I saw you're a former America's Cup sailor. Can you tell me, the viewers, a little bit about that experience?
Absolutely. It got me to this country. So, yeah, I guess looking back on the coming 40-year anniversary of Australia taking it from America and breaking a 132-year streak, seems like it's sort of the start of my quest for human performance and happiness. So it had a profound effect on my life and basically showed me how important it is to understand the environment and, importantly, the human capabilities and how you play in something when it's something you're used to.
Absolutely. So you've been a technologist as well in human resources sector for a very long time. What gave you the sort of impetus to start AbilityMap? Was it that experience that we just discussed, or was it something else?
Yeah, interesting. It was very similar to in the America's Cup. I was playing Division I football in the United States, which is kind of a big deal, kind of cool environment. And when I put myself in a completely foreign environment where I didn't have any knowledge of, I didn't know how to sail. I didn't have a lot of experience to be with the world's best, but it was the human capabilities that allowed me to contribute and be effective. The impetus to AbilityMap was I was in a company leading a global software company's ANZ region, and they brought in a new team leader, chief revenue officer over the division. And essentially I suggested to my leader that before we brought this person in, we might want to, have the heads of the region, interview him and also use AbilityMap to define what's required in his role and how well he suits it. Well, that didn't go down. And the end result was that we brought a gentleman in who didn't have the natural skills to be effective in our unique culture. And it sort of broke glass a fair bit. And I stayed around for about a year and a half. But what it helped me see is how big this problem was. That if we don't understand what's critical to being effective in an environment and therefore compare our workforce to that around the transferable skills, it was a lot of problems. Yeah, so in August of 2017, I stepped out and went full-time in AbilityMap.
Yeah, a bit of a gap there. It's interesting to see. So what is AbilityMap? Let's run through a bit more about what you get up to in order to help people shine, it sounds like.
Yeah, thank you. It's probably, I'll share the description in a moment, but if you start with something, simple and familiar, people go out and hire individuals all the time. And, we go through the interviews, we go through the references, and we make a decision expecting that person's going to be a high performer. But the data shows that about a third of the time we get it wrong. Interesting, if you look back on that, the reason that we got it wrong didn't, nine plus times out of 10, didn't have to do with their education, their experience, the references that they got. It was that they didn't fit the environment. So AbilityMap addresses that by basically, we're a next generation human assessment platform, according to Gartner, that enables workforces, organizations to define the capabilities that are needed in environments, functions, and roles, and then identify how well the workforce suits to it so they can align people to play their strengths. That's what we do.
Yeah, very well said by you. So are you seeing a demand for this kind of service? Do people actually want their employees to do well and all of that sort of thing?
Absolutely. We just had the Job Skills Summit, so it's pretty topical at this time. Where we see the demand coming is basically our focus obviously is on organizations that have teams that are lining up to achieve a certain purpose. And so, organizations that need to reassess, reevaluate, realign to this new world that we're in, tap into things that they've never found to our customers. The markets that we're focusing on are in the main financial services. They have a lot of people. They need to basically go from the top down to make sure they're playing their best. Governments and technology companies, particularly around the sales and services environments. We think that being able to bring next generation assessment to understand those environments and then line up their workforces across not only the top 20% of the organization, but all the way down to the people that pick up the phone is absolutely needed in this day and age for Australia to be competitive and keep going in this world. So that's where we're spending our time.
It's definitely a skills race at the moment. But Mike, thank you so much for joining me on the program and sharing a bit about your story and what you're trying to achieve. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.